It's so cold. It's so sad. I remember laying on that table and praying, and a doctor walking in with half of her face covered with a mask and not saying a word to me, not saying a word. And it's almost like I wished at that moment that she would say, "I'm sorry."
On January 22, 1973, the U.S. Supreme Court issued its decision in the case Roe v. Wade, deeming abortion to be a fundamental right under the United States Constitution. The court's opinion, written by Justice Harry Blackmun, asserted the right to privacy is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy. Since the verdict was rendered, the controversy has not subsided. The issue of abortion continues to divide our nation like no other. Most injustices have a beginning that is unnoticed and consequences that are unintended. 38 years after the court's decision, over 50 million innocent lives have been lost to abortion. That would be roughly the equivalent of losing the entire populations of Texas and California. The Bible places the highest value on human life. It is sacred and sustained by God, our Creator. The Word of God recognizes the unborn as being fully human. You saw me before I was born, and you scheduled each day of my life before I began to breathe.
This nation cannot continue turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to the taking of unborn children's lives every day. We cannot pretend that America is preserving her first and highest ideal, the belief that each life is sacred. This nation fought a terrible war so that black Americans would be guaranteed their God-given rights. Abraham Lincoln recognized that we could not survive as a free land when some could decide whether others should be free or slaves. Well, today, another question begs to be asked. How can we survive as a free nation when some decide others are not fit to live and should be done away with? I believe no challenge is more important to the character of America than restoring the right to life to all human beings.
In 1991, Dr. Jack Graham declared the need to address the abortion issue in Dallas with the opening of the Prestonwood Pregnancy Center. Putting action to words, Dr. Graham's vision was to light a match rather than curse the darkness.
Now, I believe the most important issue facing America today is the value of the immortal, eternal soul created by God.
Over the last 20 years, over 45,000 clients have received the message of life and the hope of Christ through this ministry. In 2003, President George W. Bush signed into law the partial birth abortion ban, a major victory for life advocates and countless unborn children at risk in the womb.
Every person, however frail or vulnerable, has a place and a purpose in this world. Every person has a special dignity. This right to life cannot be granted or denied by government because it does not come from government. It comes from the Creator of life.
Today, the Pregnancy Center continues providing guidance and education to women and families in need in our community. Our original location remains, as well as our newest endeavor, the Community Mobile Sonogram. This Pregnancy Center on wheels is stationed throughout the Metroplex daily to help women who may otherwise visit an abortion provider to terminate their pregnancy. Staff and volunteers courageously share the truth about when life begins. The client's crises are acute, their problems complex. And while there are no easy answers, there are simple answers that are provided every day, along with support through the life-changing experience of pregnancy. Our commitment remains to share the unconditional love of Christ to those in need for the next 20 years and beyond.
Had I not went to Prestonwood, I don't think I would have my daughter.
I found the pregnancy center and I knew I would get help there, and they were able to help me.
It encouraged me. It gave me the hope, faith, and the love that everyone needs when they're in a scary situation.
The pregnancy center definitely, when I think about it, it was a blessing in disguise for me. It was a gift from God to me.